The development of full artificial intelligence, aka AGI, could spell the end of the human race. It was said by the great Stephen Hawking, and many other famous figures, like Ciceus Maximus and Hinton, also agree with what Stephen said. Even AI experts now see human extinction as a real threat. So, could this truly happen? Can AI actually take over humanity? Well, stay with us because today, we'll answer this and more of your questions about what this thing means for us. But before that, let's first understand, what is AI really? Well, it was 1955 when John McCarthy was working on the famous Dartmouth project, when he came up with the word AI. In simpler words, it is a technology, or more accurately, a super complex system of programs and algorithms that allows machines to do things that usually need human intelligence. This includes learning, reasoning, solving problems, making decisions, and improving through data. And here's where people get confused. When most of us hear the word AI, we imagine something almost human, a machine that thinks, feels, understands, and maybe one day starts making choices on its own. Well, that version of AI is different. Experts call it AGI, or Artificial General Intelligence. It's what Stephen Hawking worried about. It can learn and reason about anything the way a real human being can. But that's not what most AI is today. What we use right now is narrow AI, or weak AI. It is the most basic and common form of AI, and most of us use it every day. This version of AI is built for specific tasks, not for understanding life, morality, emotion, or anything that actually makes us human. It doesn't sit there thinking about the future. It doesn't question anything. It just does what it has been programmed to do. There are a bunch of examples, such as ChatGPT, Google Translate, Netflix, and Siri. These programs can use and store huge amounts of data to spot patterns, predict what you see next, and give you answers that feel almost human-like. And these models constantly improve with each interaction. In short, the more AI systems learn, the smarter and more better they become. So, should we actually be worried about it? We don't want to scare you, but to be honest, we should. And one of the biggest fears of AI is job displacement. According to a recent Gartner report, by 2030, nearly 80% of today's project management tasks will be done by AI. And it's not just this field, but many others like delivery services, to the automotive industry, customer service, software development, and even legal work. Many companies are already using tools like GPT and GitHub Copilot to cut down on human work, speed up tasks, and, in many cases, eliminate the need for entry-level employees. In fact, early career workers in jobs most exposed to AI have already seen a 13% drop in employment, and this disruption could accelerate income inequalities and even create poverty. But job displacement isn't the only thing you should worry about, because there are other fears that go far beyond cash and careers. A lot of them come down to one disturbing idea: loss of control. AI can now create fake voices, faces, videos, and even fake evidence that looks real enough to fool anyone. That means the internet could slowly become a place where truth is replaced by the deep fake. And once people stop trusting what they see and hear, things can turn pretty bad. We mean, misinformation and manipulation all become much easier to spread. And the worst part is, it does not take a genius to use these tools. Anyone with a laptop and bad intentions can use it. And in the wrong hands, AI can even help build autonomous weapons that no longer need much human direction at all. That part is not just theory. Countries like North Korea and Russia have already shown interest in using AI in darker, more manipulative ways. But can AI take over humanity? Well, many people think AI will one day go rogue and kill every single human. It probably won't happen, of course. Still, many experts believe we shouldn't totally ignore the risk. And back in 2024, hundreds of researchers signed a statement that said, mitigating the risk of extinction from AI should be a global priority alongside other societal scale risks like pandemics and nuclear war. And when you hear something like that, it sounds almost ridiculous, like the kind of thing people say after watching too much Terminator. But when people studied this carefully, the answer turned out to be more complicated than most expect. At the Rand Corporation, a researcher named Michael J. D. Vermeer, along with a small team, tried to examine this question properly. They were not interested in partial disasters or collapsed societies. They wanted to know whether AI could completely wipe out humanity, leaving no survivors anywhere on Earth. Their starting point was very simple. Humans are spread across the planet, living in different environments and conditions. Even in the worst disasters, humans have always survived and thrived somewhere. So their assumption was that total extinction would be extremely difficult. To test that, they looked at 3 serious pathways that already exist in the real world: nuclear war, biological disease, and climate manipulation. When it comes to nuclear weapons, the results were surprising. Even if an advanced AI somehow gained control over the entire global nuclear arsenal, which includes more than 12,000 warheads across several countries, it would still likely fail to eliminate humanity completely. The destruction would be big, cities would be destroyed, and radioactive fallout would spread across large regions. There could even be a nuclear winter that damages agriculture and disrupts life for decades. But humans are too widely distributed, and there are not enough weapons to reach every part of the planet or permanently destroy all sources of food. Some people would survive, and over time, those survivors could rebuild. The second possibility is far more serious. Biological threats have always been dangerous, and history has shown how devastating pandemics can be. But even the worst natural outbreaks have never completely erased humanity. According to the analysis, even a disease with an extremely high fatality rate would still leave a portion of the population alive. The real concern comes from something more deliberate. Instead of one disease, an advanced system could design and release multiple pathogens, each spreading quickly and targeting different races. To reach complete extinction, such a system would need to continue operating over time, creating new threats and targeting isolated groups that managed to avoid the first waves. This would require long-term planning and the ability to act without human support. That is what makes this scenario more troubling than nuclear war. The third pathway is less obvious but equally serious. Instead of using existing climate change, the idea is that an advanced system could produce powerful super greenhouse gases that are far more effective than carbon dioxide. These chemicals could be released in large quantities and remain in the atmosphere for long periods. If enough of them were produced, global temperatures could rise to levels that humans could not survive anywhere on Earth. Unlike sudden disasters, this kind of change would build over time, making it difficult to reverse once it reaches a certain point. Even with these possibilities, the researchers made something very clear. None of these scenarios would happen by pure accident. Each one would require a system capable of setting a goal, gaining control over critical infrastructure, hiding its actions or influencing people, and continuing to operate without human assistance. If even one of these conditions is missing, the chances of complete extinction drop significantly. So the conclusion is not that AI will destroy or take over humanity, but that under very specific and difficult conditions, it could become a serious risk. And that is the terrifying part, because the same technology that could, in theory, contribute to these extreme outcomes is also being developed to improve productivity, solve problems, and make life easier. That is why researchers are not calling for everything to be shut down. Instead, they are focusing on monitoring how these systems evolve, especially when they become more independent, harder to supervise, or capable of influencing human decisions. In the end, the real issue is not just whether AI can take over humanity, it is whether humans will recognize the risks early enough to stay in control of something that is becoming more powerful every year. The rise of AI soldiers. We don't know whether AI will one day take over humanity, but one thing is no longer up for debate, and it's that AI-powered robots are being used in war. This idea isn't Hollywood fiction, but it's already happening in the real world, and that should bother people a lot more than it does. One of the most advanced examples is the Phantom MK-1 humanoid robot. This robot was created by a San Francisco startup company named Foundation. This 175-centimeter tall war machine is designed to move like a real human and work in tough terrains where traditional machines usually struggle. It weighs around 80 kilograms and can carry about 20 kilograms. It uses cameras, sensors, and AI-assisted vision to understand what is around it. In simple words, it is being built to go where soldiers go, but without putting an actual human body in danger. And this is not just some flashy machine built for headlines. 2 Phantom units were already sent to Ukraine for frontline reconnaissance support. On top of that, the robot is also being prepared for testing with the U.S. Marine Corps, and especially for deadly tasks like putting explosives on doors during breach operations. That is the kind of work where one wrong move can end a human life. The company behind it has also already secured around $24 million in contracts with the U.S. Army, Navy, and Air Force, which tells you this is being taken very seriously. Now, officially, these robots are still not supposed to act fully on their own. Most of them are used under what is called a human-in-the-loop system, which means the robot can help with movement, scanning, object detection, navigation, and battlefield suggestions. But a human is still meant to make the final call when it comes to lethal force. That sounds reassuring until you realize war rarely stays inside neat rules for very long. Because in places like Ukraine, that machines are already doing far more than just assisting. Some soldiers have described parts of that battlefield as a robot war, where drones, robotic systems, and AI-assisted weapons are doing work that used to belong to people. And once machines become normal in war, the next step usually comes faster than we expect. When will AI be smarter than humans? Right now, AI is not that all-knowing machine that a lot of people imagine. It's frighteningly good at certain things, but being impressive is not the same thing as being truly smarter than humans. Still, this is where things start getting worse, because even the people who build this technology cannot agree on how close we are. Sam Altman thinks super-intelligent AI could show up within just a few thousand days. Dario Amodei and Elon Musk have also suggested that something close to human-level AI may arrive very soon. Roman Yampolsky, who is a computer science professor at the University of Louisville, has gone even further, saying AGI may come quickly, and superintelligence could follow just 3 to 4 years later, but not everyone agrees with them. Brent Smolinski from IBM says we are nowhere near it. His argument is simple. Today's AI still lacks too much. It does not truly reason like a human. It does not adapt like a child. It does not learn from tiny experiences the way people do. To teach these systems how to talk, researchers had to feed them almost the entire internet. A human child needs only a tiny sliver of that, and that's the difference. So could AI become smarter than us? Well, let us know your theories in the comment box down below. And be sure to like this video and subscribe. We'll catch you soon.